Hey guys, how's everything going out there in the vinyl community? Welcome to Spirit of Vinyl. My name's Craig. Hope you guys all having a great time out there. Happy Memorial Day weekend. For those of us in America, we all get a holiday if you job allows you to do that anyway. So a 3-day weekend. Well, it's Saturday morning, um, and I thought I'd throw out a quick show and see how you guys are doing. This week, my theme is going to be female solo artist. I've been listening to female solo artists all week, going through my collection pretty much. I have some solo artists, females, some bands, of course, but I didn't do any bands. These are all just strictly solo artists. So, okay, we're going to start off with this Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, 1995. This is a 2021 repress. There's the back. There's your track listing right there. Killer track listing. All I really want, You Ought to Know, Perfect, Hand in Pocket. I mean, a lot of hits on this album. Ironic. This is a really cool record. It's got a nice little sleeve, lyrics, little picture of Atlantis on the back. Played this the other night. There's our label right there. I played this. My son was in the room. I told him we were listening to female solo artists, and he was like, okay, whatever. I'll hang out with you anyway. I'll hang out with you anyway, Dad, even though you're not going to listen to metal. I'm like, well, there's some. So we played this, and I'm like, this is a great record. And he listened to it, probably first time in his entire life. And then a couple days later, he's like, dude, I've been listening to Alanis Morissette all week. He's like, it's a great record. So this is a great record. If you don't have a copy of this 21 repress, I found this just at my local record store. It's a great record. Killer tracks. It's definitely, it came out in 95. It definitely is mid-90s type of style music. Pretty good stuff. Atlantis' songs are... she wrote all those songs and great lyrics and everything else. So next, Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. This one has the alternate cover on it, I guess, or the new cover. I've seen this cover with her sitting on the stool. This one, she's in the bathtub. The back of this has lyrics and songs on it. Of course, this is her ultimate album. If you paid any attention at all back in 06 when this album came out, all these tunes. I mean, Amy Winehouse was all over the news, and she was kind of a train wreck, but one hell of a voice. Won Grammys for this record. This is a great album. Very jazzy. It's probably the only jazz album I own. Honestly, I don't think I have anything else. I would say this is a jazz. It says it's, R&B, but this thing is definitely like a jazz record. Very, very, very good album. I bought that just like, okay, well, cool record. So labels are just black labels with Amy's name on it. It says it's an 06 press. Album came out in 06. It's listed with, like I said, jazz, funk, soul, and R&B. To me, it's mostly jazz sounding. All right, next we go to this right here. Juice Newton Greatest Hits. This album was picked up by my wife last year. We were out. It was our anniversary. She bought this record and the next one I'm going to talk about. I think I've mentioned this before. There's your track listing. Angel of the Morning, Love's Been a Little Hard on Me, Heart of the Night, Ride 'em Cowboy, The Sweetest Thing I've Ever Known, Queen of Hearts, Break It to Me Gently, I'm Gonna Be Strong, Shot Full of Love, and Tell Her No. This is actually, this is a 1984 Jacksonville press, and it's basically songs from her previous 3 albums. Like half of these songs are off the album that comes out right before this. Great voice, great singer, not a songwriter, but a great singer. And this album does remind me, we talk about the spirits of vinyl here sometimes. This album does take me back to, being, this album came out in 84. basically covering her career from 81 to 83. So I'd have been 12 to 14 years old about that time. And this is kind of stuff my mom was listening to. And of course, songs like Queen of Hearts and Angel of the Morning were all over everything. It's got your great little capital label on there. It's a really good record. It really is. It's not my style at all, honestly, but I've listened to it a couple of times since I've owned it, and I really kind of like it a lot. I think Juice Newton has a great voice, and it's that great late 70s, early 80s sound. Next up, Linda Ronstadt's greatest hits. This was picked up at the same time that Juice Newton album was picked up. My wife was kind enough last year, our anniversary. We're heading down to Nashville. We're wandering around. We go hit a record store. I'm like, because we're downtown Nashville. It's filled with bars and country music, and it's a good time. And we wandered. I'm like, oh, there's a record store down the street here. Let's go check it out. So, she indulged me. We went in, and I'm like, buy a couple records. Come out and hang out with me out here in my den and listen to music. So she bought a couple records to listen to. Very rarely comes out to listen to it. So there's the track listing of this record right there. And this also, there's the label. It's got that cool, I love this Asylum Records label. So this one's from 1976, Santa Maria pressing. It's kind of covers her career, the 7 years of her career from 67 all the way up until 76. This album's kind of got a weird smell. It's got that 70s smell of cigarettes and incense and, cardboard. Sounds great, plays good. It's okay. It's really not my style. I'd rather listen to the Juice Newton record myself. So, all right, next up, this classic right here, Stevie Nicks, Belladonna, 1981, Japanese pressing. This album is the classic Stevie Nicks, in my opinion. Belladonna, Kind of a Woman, Stop Dragging My Heart Around with the late, great Tom Petty. Think About It, After the Glitter Fades, Edge of 17, my favorite Stevie Nicks song with Stevie Nicks on vocals. Leather and Lace, Outside the Rain, and The Highwaymen. What can you say about this record? This is Stevie Nicks' magnum opus, I think. I think everybody would agree with that. This is the era of Stevie Nicks that I remember. This is the era, like I said, this album comes out in 1981 Japan. Stop Dragging My Heart Around is all over MTV. I'm Coming of Age. She's Gorgeous. I was in love. I was in love with her look. I was in love with her voice. Great record. It's got it was a Japanese press. It's got this cool insert. This is the English insert. It's got lyrics on the back. It also came, of course, the Japanese insert, one-sided. Nice picture of Stevie, all the Japanese writing. That one was one of the ones that I found in the dumpster in my famous dumpster dive story. Here's the label on there, WA Records. This is a great record. It really is. It's one of the best when it comes to these, this female solo artist that I'm going through. I really, really enjoy that record all the time. Like I said, that's the era of Stevie Nicks where I was coming of age. And, it's 1981, so I'd have been like 12 years old, seeing her on MTV, singing with Tom Petty, just thinking how cool she looks with that lacy look and the hippie dancing and just that great voice. And that song, Edge of 17, I always love that song. The guitars and her lyrics. And basically, I want to say I probably knew, when you're paying attention, I probably knew about Stevie Nicks before I knew about Fleetwood Mac. So even though I'd probably heard Fleetwood Mac on the radio multiple times beforehand. But, when you're a kid, you're not really paying attention to all that. Another album that was found in the famous dumpster thing, Suzi Quatro, Rock Hard. Great record. This is a really great record. I think Susie's definitely underrated. I don't think she got the credit, she deserved. And of course, I remember her from, being She played Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days back in the day. Before I ever knew her as a real musician, I guess I was aware of her. Rock Hard, Glad All Over, Love Is Ready, State of Mind, Woman Cry, Lipstick, Hard Headed, Ego in the Night, Lonely is the Hardest, Lay Me Down, and Wish Upon Me. There's the back of it. Has a pretty cool little sleeve. Nice picture of Susie here playing the bass. Nice look. Very cool. Let's see. This was from 1980. It's a PRC 72 press. This one, like I said, there was another one that was found. There's another one I also have, If You Knew Susie. I decided to listen and kind of play this one. I really like this record a lot. This is cool, early 80s, late 70s hard rock. I think this is a really good record. I think she's got a great voice. I think she's a very good bass player. Her band is good. I don't know what happened. I don't know how she never really caught on and became huge or whatever. Seems like she was always just kind of there in the background or whatever, but I really think this is a good record. And to be honest, the If You Know Susie, which is the other Susie Quatro album I have, is also a very good record, but this one's a little bit heavier, a little bit more of that early 80s rock, where the other one was from more of a late 70s sound, but I really liked it a lot. So Susie Quatro, Rock Hard, great album. All right. Next, Lita Ford, Dancing on the Edge, 1984 Netherlands press. There's the back cover. Here's the picture of her with the band, but it's interesting if you'll look right there. It only mentions three people. It says Lita Ford on vocals, Randy Castillo on drums, and Hugh McDonald on bass, and it doesn't state who the other person in the picture is. And it's also got some special guests on here. Aldo Nova's on here playing the synthesizers. Gotta Let Go, Dance on the Edge, Dress to Kill, Hit and Run, Lady Killer, Still Waiting, Fire My Heart, Don't Let Me Down, and Run with the Money. Great record. What can you say about Lita Ford? This album comes out in 1984. Here's the inner sleeve right here. There's Lita being awesome, being cool. If you're of a certain age, my age, 50s or whatever, and you were around and you were into hard rock and heavy metal, Lita Ford was our goddess. She was our goddess. She was the rock goddess at the time. Just so cool, so good looking. What a great voice, great guitar player. Of course, we were aware of the Runaways, but that was previous, and Joan Jett. And if it's between Joan and Lita, I'll take Lita any day of the week, because I was the teenage heavy metal guy, and Lita had a harder edge to her and was more metal, I think, than Joan was. Not taken away from Joan at all. She's also a great guitar player. I just don't have any of her in my collection. That's the only Lita Ford album in my collection. I'd like to get a couple more of that era. Of course, I have Runaways albums too, but we were talking about female solo artists this week, not bands. That's why I did not mention the Runaways. Then we jump over to Cyndi Lauper. She's So Unusual. It's a cool record. There's the back cover right there. This has got Money Changes Everything, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Wish You Were Mine, Time After Time, She Bop, All Through the Night. I mean, all these hits. This is Cyndi's debut album. This is a 1983 Pittman Press, OG Press. This is a great record. I just got this recently because I started buying that 80s pop new wave sound, and I found it out there, and I'm just like, okay, I'm buying the Cyndi Lauper record. It's got 3 songs I know on it. I've been giving that music from that era more of a chance that I ignored back in the day. So I like this one a lot. I think she's got a great voice. I think it's well written, well produced. Here's our inner sleeve. One side, it's got the lyrics. The other side's got this cool little artwork with a nice little, the lyrics of Time After Time kind of handwritten on a wall, very artistic. It's a very good record. It's, like I said, well produced, well mixed, great songs, great for that era, that 83 MTV era, that sound that Cyndi was doing, is good stuff, and she was really, really popular. So I want to say she should have been bigger, but she was probably one of the biggest pop stars of the time, besides this one right here. Next up, Madonna, debut album, Madonna. Um, Lucky Star, Borderline, Burning Up, I Know It, Holiday, Think of Me, Physical Attraction, and everybody. So Lucky Star, Borderline, and Holiday were all radio hits, MTV hits. There's the back cover. This is, like I said, this is her debut album. That was an 83 Winchester press. There's our inner sleeve with the lyrics on the one side, and Madonna looking all beautiful. She was gorgeous. And even being the metal guy that I was, we all kind of were in love with Madonna, whether we wanted to admit it or not. And we all kind of liked her music, whether we wanted to admit it or not. Sire Records on the label, Sire Records. I like that little label right there. Madonna, I mean, it's a great record. It really is a great record. I just got it recently. I just bought it probably within the last couple of months because I was just trying to fill out some space in the collection, and I had already bought Like a Virgin, which is also a great record. But I want to say that self-titled Madonna album coming out in '83, having 3 hits like that, solidified her as a pop icon that she always was. So it's a really good record. I like it a lot. I really do. And my kid, I'm making him listen to, he's basically hung out with me all week listening to all this music and trying to expand his thing a little bit. And even he can admit that Cyndi Lauper and Madonna and Suzi Quatro and Stevie Nicks is all great music altogether. Now this next one, my last one I'm going to be talking about, Crystal Gale. And this album is called We Should Be Together. From Crystal Gale, 1979. This is a Rockaway press. There's your track listing on here. Let's see. Sneaking Out the Back Door, You'll Be Loved, Somebody Beyond You, The Best Thing in My Life, Time Will Prove I'm Right, Your Kisses Will, Your Old Cold Shoulder, on and on, other songs. I kind of recognize some of these. This is the kind of stuff that my parents would have been listening to in '79. This is country music. Crystal Gale is a country music star, and I don't like country music. You guys know that about me, but this is one that was given to me by a guy at work. I've told that story about those guys. They find records at work. They give them to me. It's got a cool label on it. I really like this. I think that's a United Artists. I think it's a UA, but I like the flowers and the color on it. And it's actually pretty heavy. For 1979, this is a pretty thick record. It almost feels like a 180 gram press, which, they weren't really doing back then. Most of your stuff in the 70s is a lot thinner than that. It's pressed well. It's mixed well. But I wasn't really a fan. It's not my style of music at all. It's really short. The album itself is probably only about 35 minutes, 40 minutes long, tops. I think the first side was like 13 minutes. I don't even think it's that long altogether. I think it may be less than 30 minutes long. It's radio-friendly late 70s country music, which isn't my style at all. Not a big fan of country music and never have been, but that's more my personal taste. But overall, if you like that era of country music, this is actually a pretty good record. Lots of acoustic guitars. She's got a great voice. It's mixed really well. I like it a lot. So anyway, so that's basically kind of what I decided to listen to this week and go over, that's pretty much all of the solo artist females I have. Of course, I have lots of other stuff with female singers and female band members and so on. But when it comes to solo artists, that was pretty much it. I had one more that I could have played, but I kind of ran out of time. Miranda Lambert's Palomino. Maybe I'll listen to it one time later. That's, I just kind of ran out of time, and I had 10 for today. So, all right. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you all watching. I hope you guys all have a great and safe, wonderful Memorial Day weekend. If you are traveling, be careful out there. There's all kinds of people out there. And here in America, school is let out. So in most of the country. So next week, they'll all be out too. So be careful out there. You got to think all those idiot drivers you guys see, now their kids are out driving too. So be safe out there, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks again for watching. I'm Craig. This has been The Spirit of Vinyl. You guys have a great week.